Hello.
Blog Talk Radio.
Have you ever wondered why it's happening again?
Welcome to MindShifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rakhma. Michael is the author of So Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce.
To the brightness within you and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hello. This is Dr. Tim here for Michael. Hoping he'll call in shortly. Apparently he's been held up somehow or wasn't able to call in. And we have somebody with their hand up already. And before we get to that, that's area code 541. I just want to review what we're here about on this radio show, internet show. Our purpose is to support people in learning and applying the tool of forgiveness from the ancient Aramaic. This process has nothing to do with pardoning people for doing something wrong. It has to do with removing anything that's unlike love from my mind-body energy system and creating the space for acting from that energy of the Creator, from that space of love. And I'm going to give a chance here for area code 954 to raise their hand, and we'll see if that's Michael. Michael, is that you? Area
Hello?
code 954. Who do we have?
This is Nene. Hello, my heart family.
Well, hello, Nene. We're hopefully waiting for Michael to join us any minute. This is Dr. Tim, and I was just going to give a brief overview introduction as Michael does, and then we'll ask for your questions and comments.
Wonderful.
This radio show is sponsored and hosted by Dr. Michael Ryce and his wife Jeanie, and you can find out more about this process we're talking about, the ancient Aramaic process of forgiveness, by going to the website at www.whyagain.com. Whyagain.com. If you click on a link on the right-hand side that says Download Worksheets, it'll take you to a page where the first 4 or 5 links give you everything you need to know about beginning to use this process, the ancient Aramaic process of canceling or forgiving, which has to do with removing anything that's unlike love from our energy systems. And in the process of doing that, we get to live in the space of love, from the space of love, and share with others, and open up a space for everyone from our ancient ancestors to our children and grandchildren to step through into that awareness of their source as love. The creative energy, that place of total calm and acceptance. And this is about realizing that everything that I experience in my life that is less than that energy of love and acceptance, I've created, or it was created by my parents and grandparents and great-great-grandparents and handed down to me. And when it shows up in my life, rather than being a curse or something that's being done to me, it's there as a wake-up call to let me know there's something that's less than love in my energy system, and I can do something about removing it and creating a better life for myself, my ancestors, and my coming generations. We also like to talk in this hour about honoring everyone who's ever been to war, suffered in war, caused suffering in war, died in war or been made to kill in war. And we're offering that everyone listening can learn to take a step to move us toward the ending of war on planet Earth. And how can you do that? You can do that by going inside yourself and removing everything that's less than love. Removing every core, every feeling that's less than love, every bitterness, resentment, anger that generates in us something that's less than love, which if we are aware and use the tool to remove it, we create a space for love to be the primary energy on planet Earth rather than the seeds of war. So we're inviting everybody to do one piece of work today, to remove one thing from your energy system today that is less than love. And let me just try something here. Someone else has their hand up with a 314 area code. I'm going to put you on, and let's see if this might be Dr. Ryce. You're 314. You're on the air.
Tim, you're awesome. This is me. Thank you. I apologize. I'm working on some writing, and I got so involved in the writing, I just totally lost track of time. I'll have to set an alarm tomorrow.
Well, so Dr. Michael Ryce, you're on with Nene, and I've just given the invitation to help remove some energies that are contributing to war and given the website. Let me just give the call-in number. It's 646-200-4169. And if you want to speak to Dr. Ryce, just press number 1 on your phone pad, and it'll let me know that you want to talk to him. So, Dr. Ryce and Nene, you're on.
Awesome introduction, Tim. Thank you. Hello, Nene. How are you, young lady?
Hello, I'm doing fine. Very excited about all the work we've been doing for the year. And, you know, that January 2nd is going to be my first year of this wonderful embracement of the teaching. So I'm ready, celebrating.
Well, I join you in that celebration. I'm doing the same. I'm actually planning on spending my New Year's Eve in doing worksheets to send out the old year and bring in the new year.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to say that we had our Thursday night. We had the small group came to the support group.
Your MindShifters support group?
Yeah, the MindShifters support group. Same people came, but everybody called today, and they all had a tremendous breakthrough, a tremendous realization, a tremendous shift.
It is awesome when you offer people support in doing this work, isn't it?
Yeah, wonderful. And even myself, me too. I went, the last 10 worksheets yesterday's and today's were really deep and able to remove the next layer of all those disintegrated energies. So I wanted to acknowledge them. And also, now that you're coming to Florida next week, and then I'm going to announce officially, like every other Thursday night, we're going to meet for the MindShifters support group.
Fabulous. Very cool. Well, and as you're sharing the breakthroughs you've gotten, I'm sure Dr. Tim will affirm that the one who gets the breakthroughs on the deepest levels is the one who's hosting and sponsoring the support group, because, of course, there's that old adage, I think it was, what's his name? Richard Bach, that said, we teach best that which we most need to learn. And so it does work that way, doesn't it, Tim?
Absolutely. And it's wonderful to create a space for others, but the thing that's kept me doing it almost every week for the past 6 years is the benefit I get from it.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. So, Nene, is there anything in particular in the way of a breakthrough that you might share that was meaningful, that might be meaningful and helpful to others in the on the show?
Well, I had when I was there with the meeting and we were all sharing our shifts, and everything, somebody asked me about me, and I said, well, I'm going to be seeing my daughter in a couple of weeks, and I haven't seen her in 2.5 years. And I'm going to see her as part of the opening and of the cleansing that I've been doing in the areas of my life. And at the same time, when I was saying that, inside of me, I was able to connect with certain feelings of guilt and failure. So I worked on that, and it also took me to understand why in other areas of my life I have been in the past afraid of living out loud, like putting really my talents out loud and lack of self-confidence. So it all came in that moment that I was saying that. Yeah, so I've been working the last 10 sheets on that yesterday and today. I finished today my 40-day commitments, and that was awesome for me to clean that, because last night I was in tears and I'm very, very connected to whatever I needed to heal. And then it's awesome to have the support of these other people, that the vitality that allows you to go deeper and deeper.
And so as Tim has put forward so many times on the show, the invitation to anyone and everyone who's listening to start a support group. You don't have to be an expert. You actually don't have to know anything about these teachings in order to have a support group. All you have to do is be willing and committed to learning and using the tools. There are videos available. Most support groups start out each session with a 1-hour video. There are 15 different videos, so actually 16 different videos with about 20 hours or so of material. And one could take any given hour and literally spend weeks breaking it down and really understanding and using the tools together. And so it's the commitment to really put yourself out there, as Nene's saying, and what you'll break through in doing it is just so powerful. To live in that state of aliveness is one that most people shy away from. And what the support group will do is it will bring levels of aliveness that will crack the parts of your mind that hold you out of your own aliveness. And there's the most powerful benefit of that group. That African proverb that I love to use so often: if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yep.
And so.
Mm-hmm. And I have one final question before I give. I've noticed in some of the breathing, still point breathing that I facilitate for people, most people in their legs, there's no pulse. What does that mean?
Say it once again.
In the still point breathing, when I do the energy work on somebody, I've noticed that most people in their ankles, they have no pulse. There's no discernible energy flow there. Yeah, and that's why we focus. And for those who are listening to the show who haven't been to a Why Is This Happening to Me Again intensive, one of the things that we do is we share a hands-on energy field work that works with opening the field to a total flow of energy that it's designed to do. And the resistance that people go through in resisting their lives and not wanting to deal with what's going on literally expresses physically. And one of the reasons for doing that, what we call the negative pole, which is at the ankles, is to unblock that area, because that's a place where a lot of locking up happens. Ankles are an expression of not being able to stand on one's own feet, not having support, understanding. It touches in many different areas, and so there tends to be an expression physically of a blockage of energy in that area. When you get down to the truth about this human form, it's not a body, it's an energetic system. And when we function as the energetic system that we are, then all blockages that withhold proper flow have to be addressed and forgiven. And forgiveness isn't about letting somebody else off the hook, because that particular block is in oneself,
Forgiveness is about going in, addressing, and removing that particular block. And so the energy field work is a way of supporting that opening. And that's definitely one of the holding points for a lot of people, Nene. And you'll notice the people who have no flow there will tend to be people who have issues around understanding and standing on their own 2 feet and being supported. That's where that will tend to express.
Yeah.
Does that fit for you? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you very, very much. And big hugs for everybody, and I'll see you next year.
See you next year, Nene. Thank you. Blessings.
Thanks, Nene.
Blessings, yeah.
So, Michael, we have 2 people from the 514 area code that have had their hands up. The one that's been on hold the longest is 541-488. Are you ready to take that call?
Okay. Well, just one thing. Is David with us?
What would I be looking for over the...
You'd be looking for 417. I think it's...
All right, 417. Let me turn this on. See, David, is that you?
Could be.
Oh, hey, there he is. Good. How are you today, sir?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to say hello and acknowledge you being there if you were there. So, cool.
I am here.
Whole family's here. Anything to share before we go on and take our caller from 541?
No, I think go ahead and take the call. Maybe something a little bit later around the completion of the 40 days.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. Yes, and thank you for that invitation to do the 40 days. For those who haven't been on the show, David was paying attention and counting out 40 days from the end of the year and got a large group of people inspired to do 5 worksheets a day, and including myself. And it's been a while. I've been sourcing this work. It's been a while since I've actually gone through that process myself, and so it's been awesome. So thank you for that, David. So 541, let's say hello, and how can we support you?
Hi there, Michael. Hi there, Michael.
Okay,
it's Carolyn.
A little overlap. Hi, Carolyn. Welcome to the show.
How's Jeanie doing?
Jeanie is doing very well, and we do invite everybody to hold the space for her if you would. Today they're making all the final funeral arrangements and all the things that need to be done for her former husband, and so she's there supporting her son and her 2 stepsons. And actually, her former husband's former wife is there, and so she's kind of the space of support for all of them, and all the energy and love we can surround her and her family with would be awesome. And also to Ron Shaw, her former husband, who passed away yesterday, and just holding that space for him to go directly to the light and bring more of that light into our own form. So. Thank you for that, for bringing that up, Carolyn.
Oh, you're so welcome. And please tell her I'm sending my love and blessings.
I shall, most definitely.
Okay, so just briefly, there's some crackling on the line. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, there is a little bit of noise, and maybe if somebody would hit their mute button, if the noise is coming from there, it'll quiet things down.
Okay. So I feel very honored that you previously invited me to do a worksheet with you on the line.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that. And I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time on the phone because there are other people that want to share. But I did one last night, and where I'm at is especially my daughter and her husband. They blew up at me in Palm Desert before I left.
Yes.
And it's years-old anger about my having taken money.
Right.
And I told them the truth about my son. I won't go into the long story, but my son left gold here for me and in a safe, and then he came to visit, and he took most of it away after having promised that he would never take it away. So we have a lot of money stuff in our family, and the original thing for me was that I was born into a family where my father worked so hard I hardly ever saw him, and he would get very angry if my mother or any of us spent money that he didn't think was appropriate.
Right.
And then I married into a very wealthy family.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I didn't get any of it. My children did. And so somewhere in my mind, and I admit that that's true, I felt entitled to have some of that.
Right.
So that's why I actually forged checks years ago. It must have been 30 plus 40 years ago that were made out to my children, which was insurance money.
Right.
And that's what they're still, I brought it up. I told them the truth years ago.
Right.
And so when I expressed that I was so angry at my son for having taken this gold after he promised that he would never do it, for a long time after he left, I felt, geez, I don't want to see him again. I don't want his money. I don't want the gold. I'm sick of the whole thing. So I took it and sold it all, which I regret. So I would like to clear myself of, it's interesting you were talking about no pulse in the ankles.
Right.
Because when I have craniosacral work, I don't have any pulse in my ankles.
Right.
So I'm dealing
I understand.
with right. I understand now, too. And,
well, you may be getting ready to open that up then.
I would love that.
Awesome.
So I would like to deal with the guilt, shame, and forgiving myself so that I don't walk around with this guilt and shame.
Well, and remember that the work is not about forgiving yourself or letting yourself off the hook. The work will be about addressing directly the content of your physiology that holds this guilt and shame and removing the guilt and shame. So the forgiveness isn't applied to self. It's applied to the guilt, the shame, or whatever's ready to move and to remove it from your structure.
Well, that's what I would like to do.
Awesome. So the worksheet that you did last night, it was on this topic?
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel like you completed the worksheet successfully?
Well, I don't know, Michael. My goal, let's see, I wrote it out on a piece of paper because I'm running out of sheets.
Right.
I think and I didn't number it. The goal was I want to love myself and see myself as beautiful, forgiving all that I ever did. I cancel my goal to love myself and see myself as beautiful, forgiving all that I ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went on to say I can be truthful and honest, and how they see it is for them to heal.
Right.
I am healing myself. I acknowledge myself for doing this work.
That sounds right on track. You're right on topic there.
Well,
and
that's good.
what was the subject of the worksheet? Was it your own name that was in number 1A?
Yes.
Okay. So that worksheet is right on track. Is there when you canceled the goal, and for those who are new to the whole idea, if you want to tap into the forgiveness technology that we're teaching from the ancient Aramaic, if you go to whyagain.com, on the right-hand side you'll see a link that says Download Worksheets. The worksheet that Carolyn's talking about is on the website under Download Worksheets, and the first 4 links will give you the whole story of the Aramaic idea of forgiveness. In the Aramaic language, the word forgive literally translates, the word is shabag, it literally translates to cancel. And so when you look at the goal, when one loads a goal into their minds and that goal resonates some form of hostility or fear, then by canceling that goal, you can come back into direct relationship with the hostility and fear and do that from a space of connectedness and love, and that's how you clean out the hostility and fear. That's literally how you forgive. So, Carolyn, once you canceled the goal, what became apparent to you? What did you start to see?
Well, this is what's troubling me. I cancel my goal to love myself and see myself as beautiful, forgiving all that I ever did. And I shouldn't use the word forgiving.
No, that's very appropriate. You forgive those energies and those things that you've done. They're the energies that are held within you. That's where the forgiveness is applied. No, you're right on track there.
Okay. And I recognize that the anger and whatever else they're holding, my children, they have to work out their own stuff around this.
Okay.
I can't keep carrying this guilt forever and ever. But when I don't get it, Michael, when I say I cancel my goal to love myself and see myself as beautiful, forgiving all that I ever did, I did not feel complete with this.
Okay. Well, and this is probably, with an issue that's that deep, that big, and goes back over 30 years, this is probably going to be one of your 77 times 70 worksheet issues. When they ask the master teacher of forgiveness, how many of these worksheets do we have to do? Is 7 enough? In Aramaic, what he said was no, 77 times 70, which means an infinite number of times until you're complete. So let's explain this in terms of the file system in the mind. I have a file in my mind of who I think I am. And let's say, for instance, when I feel entitled to my children's inheritance and I take it from them illegally or steal, I put into my file on me that I'm not worthy, that I'm guilty, that I'm bad, that I'm wrong, that I'm, how many adjectives could you put on it? It could be 1,000. And then, not wanting to live with the pain of that, what do? I deny it and dissociate from it. So now that series of feelings and thoughts and realities about myself are tucked away in a hidden part of my mind that I cannot access and cannot get to because it's too painful to go there. So when I recognize that in a given situation, so here I am sitting with my children who I have confessed my error to and said I want to make amends, and they rage at me, I sit in the space of, I'm not getting much support or love here, and what I really want to do is love myself. But there's a part of my mind, that dissociated part, that says, you're not lovable, you're guilty, you're a thief, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the trick and the key to the forgiveness process is that when I see myself in the space of having a goal, and that goal collects or resonates or gathers information based in hostility or fear about myself, then by simply setting that goal but keeping my dissociated mind closed down and out of sight, I tend to invent reasons to find myself not worthy, not valuable, guilty, bad, wrong, evil, sinful, whatever words you want to use. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to go into that file, so to speak. I need to open that container that I've dissociated from and clean out its content. I clean out its content not by sitting around and going, I have these old feelings of being unworthy and being guilty. I think I'll just change my mind and love myself. Now, you can make that kind of a new choice a million times, and until the cows come home, it's not going to change the dissociated content that holds I'm guilty, bad, wrong, evil, whatever the descriptors are. It's not going to change that content. I can logically sit and say, not even remembering, I'm probably, very likely dissociated from that behavior that I did 20, 30, 40 years ago. I've totally hidden it away, and I can say to myself, well, I deserve to love myself, so that's what I'm going to do. But every time I focus on loving myself, the dissociated part that I've hidden away is the part that comes into play. there's a law called the law of resonance. So as soon as I say to somebody, okay, don't think about the color of your car, what happens? The brain cells fire that contain the color of my car. If I have a file in my mind that say, I'm not worthy of love, I'm blah, 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 and I say I'm going to love myself, what fires in brain cells? I don't deserve love, and whatever the blah, blah, blah is. And what happens is people never open that dissociated file to clean out its content. So the whole core of the forgiveness process is I recognize that when I say I want to see myself as beautiful and worthy of love, that there's a part of my mind that holds pain and trauma about me and judgments that keep me out of that love. So the way you crack open the dissociated part of the mind is by canceling the goal. So when I cancel the goal, let's keep it simple. When I just cancel the goal to love myself, what happens is I collapse the conscious energy about myself, and I open, literally, this is a way to crack open that dissociated mind. This is the ancient technology that Yeshua taught 2,000 years ago on how to change the content of your own mind. You know, in those teachings they said, take care of the heart, for out of it are the issues in life. And we couldn't translate that word heart until just a few decades ago with the rediscovery of the unconscious. So what was being said was take care of the dissociated part of your mind, for out of it are the issues in life. So I say I want to love myself, but inside I hold self-hatred for the things I've done, and it's impossible to love myself. When I cancel, shebag in Aramaic is the word that's been translated as forgive, and it literally means to cancel. When I cancel that goal, that's how I crack open and get into that dissociated part. And there's all this garbage. And so I'm able now, you know, if you look at step 4 in the worksheet, I'm going to go back and reconnect to my newborn state. And we define in this work, again, for people who are new to the show, who perhaps haven't been involved in this conversation for very long, we define a human life by inviting people to hold a newborn child. When you hold a newborn, you know exactly what human life it is. It is the awesome, active presence of love. And so, in step 4, before you go in and cancel the goal, you tap into and step into that connected space of that active presence of love. Now, whatever you crack open when you cancel the goal that's in the dissociated mind that you're willing to let go of and work through, and literally in this case you identify that maybe it's right down to the tips of your toes with the energy block that you're experiencing in your body, then as you open and breathe and embrace in love that dissociated part. So you're not canceling the goal to love yourself because you don't deserve to be loved. I mean, you deserve to be loved just because the Creator put the breath of life in you. It doesn't matter what you did. That's what you deserve. However, if you withhold that from yourself because there are parts of your mind that you don't know how to access and clean out, this is how you do it. And you know, with something that old and that deep, and then recognizing that it's based in some old poverty thinking and thinking around money, you know, you can bet that as you shared and linked into that are all the rages that Father went into when you or Mother spent money that wasn't approved by him. You know, his way of controlling sounds like it was with money. It's going to tap into that and all the self-worth issues that come along with that. And so when Yeshua says you're going to do 77 times 70 worksheets, this is your first one. And that's a pretty powerful insight to see that, my daughter's angry. She's going to have to work through her anger. And I'm guilty. I'm going to have to work through my guilt. And so I may do, in order to clean up every part of that dissociated mind, I'm going to do not necessarily a literal 77 times 70 worksheets, but I'm going to do an infinite number of worksheets till I'm complete with that issue. So in one case, I may be able to tap into, you know, when I cancel the goal and I invite that super processor that's inside of me called Ruka Dekucha in Aramaic, I invite it to go to work. When I cancel the goal and invite it to go to work, I'm going to be shown that, their anger's theirs, my guilt's mine. All right, that's a great start. then the next piece might be the next worksheet that you do around that same issue. And it might be, instead of on the kids, your second worksheet in that issue might be on Dad. And what did I want? Well, I wanted him to approve and love me when I walked in with that new dress that I bought, and he instead raged at me for buying a new dress and wasting his money. So, gee, now here's my God, Dad, who doesn't approve of me and calls me all sorts of nasty names and slaps me across the face for spending his money. Well, all that's stored in my file on me. So as I cancel the goal for Dad to be nurturing and respectful and support me in being abundant, when I cancel that goal, that's going to take me into that part of my mind that holds the pain of that experience. And by exposure to love, I'm going to clean that part of my mind out. Then my next worksheet might be on, it might be on my former husband who, he had lots of money and I was attracted to him because, now I'll have money. And, probably he disapproved of you spending money too. The same, why is this happening to me again? So the next worksheet might be on him. And as you cancel the goal for him to nurture, love, and support you and see you as abundant the way you wanted Dad to do, which we tend to continue the issues from relationship to relationship until we work them through. When I cancel that, then I'm going to touch into, whatever I hold in that file on me, all the things I took on about me. And I do that out of an active space of love, and I dissolve all of those dynamics. When I'm finished my 77 times 70 worksheet, the only thing left in my file, so to speak, on me is going to be my experience of who I am as the awesome active presence of love. And then I'll take a whole new energy to the bank, literally take a new energy to the bank, to the person that I look at in the mirror in the morning, to the children that I bore that I feel I violated and was out of integrity with. It'll change your perception about everything.
Okay, so what I'm getting from what you've said is that when I don't feel complete at the end of the worksheet by canceling the goal about, loving myself and forgiving all that I did, that's time for another worksheet.
That's your next worksheet, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly, and so there'll be a whole string of them. I was saying to Jeanie a couple of weeks ago, we've been sitting at night actually and doing our 5 worksheets together. And I was sharing with her, this is very much like the Hydra out of Greek mythology. And if you're not familiar with the Hydra, that was a mythological creature and is a symbol of our own process, which is much of that Greek mythology. And the Hydra was the one that when you cut off one head, 5 more heads appeared, or several more heads appeared. And when you cut one of those off, several more heads appeared. And as you do your worksheets, like when I'm doing them, I have a whole stack with me, and I'll do a worksheet, and I'll key into, that relates to this issue. Okay, so I'll go in and I'll just fill in maybe the how I'm feeling and the object of attention of that worksheet. So there's another worksheet I'm going to do, and then so when I do a single worksheet, I might see myself tapping into 6 different worksheets out of that one. And it's a way of going through, literally, so to speak, every file in your mind and cleaning up the file folder effect that tends to keep us locked into what's not true about us.
Mm-hmm. And as you said earlier, it's okay to recognize that my children as well have to do their own work on this. I can't do their work for them.
Exactly. As does your father and as does your former husband. Mm-hmm. We all have to do our own work. And we're in this together. And the beauty of one person, as you have, becoming committed to doing your work is that you literally open an energetic window that, sitting in your children's presence with, I'm guilty, I'm to blame, what a terrible thing I did, is going to resonate them, pouring upon you verification that you're terrible, you're guilty, and horrible for what you did. That's exactly what happened. As you clean this out, the next time that you're in their space, you won't have the energetic pattern of inviting that energetically out of them, and the tendency will be that they'll shift their behavior. You know, the process of creation is one where we literally radiate patterns of energy to all the world around us, and unless somebody is really fully conscious, they'll tend to be controlled by that energetic pattern. You know, you've heard me talk about the work I did with Marcel Vogel about 30 years ago, and Marcel had this camera in his laboratory with which to take a picture of the high energy waves that leave the mind when we think a thought. Literally, we're sending out that energetic pattern. I deserve to be abused because I did something terrible. And, you know, that's going to tend to pull abuse out of somebody. And you know how that works if you've ever gone into somebody's space totally committed to being loving, nurturing, and caring. Have you ever done that, Carol?
Oh,
and then all of a sudden,
totally
found yourself functioning like a mad banshee. You ever done that one?
Yes.
So there's what happened was, you walked into somebody's space who had that energetic pattern of, I need you to be this kind of a mad banshee, and you happen to have one, and it resonates or triggers those brain cells, and then against your own will and choice, you're doing something that you go, wait, this isn't like me. I don't do things like this. What's going on here? Oftentimes it's a response to that person's psychic megaphone message. And sometimes the mind will say, I knew it was their fault. It's like, no, you've got to be responsible for your mad banshee. And we get attracted. We get resonance that draws us in, or we have resonance that draws us into each other's space in order to heal those things that we need to heal. And that's the beauty of getting conscious, because once you recognize that this is a healing opportunity, you open the energetic window to heal your mad banshee, and that opens the energetic window to make it easier for them to heal whatever the dynamic is about them.
Well, Michael, I'm so grateful to you and to Jeanie as well, and to Julie, if she's on the phone, for opening this door for me that I am able now to walk through and heal this stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, and you open the energetic pattern for Dad, who is likely not in his body anymore. You open the energetic pattern for former husband, who is, if I understand correctly, is not in his body anymore. That literally, when we leave the form, we take all these patterns with us. And this is the real praying for the dearly departed. You know, in the ancient teachings, they talked about praying for the dearly departed, and most people think that means you get down on your hands and knees and you tell God what God should do for that person. No. Praying for the dearly departed is that you do your work that links to the work that they need to do. And as you clear the pattern out in you energetically, you create the space for that darkness that keeps them out of the full experience of the light. You clean that darkness out for them as well. And you do the same for your future generations. So it's an awesome gift. There's a fabulous line in the Course in Miracles. It says, millions yet unborn will benefit from the work you do. So you're right on track, young woman.
Thank you for your love and your support.
You've got it. Absolutely, all the way.
Thank you so much.
Okay, blessings.
All right, Michael, you've got about 11 minutes left. We have somebody who's been on hold for a while, another 541 area code. Do you want to take that?
Let's go to 541, absolutely.
541-552. You're on the air. Who do we have?
Here, that's Julie Burns.
Well, hey there, young lady. How are you?
I'd like to say that I'm fine, and I am fine in a way, except that I suddenly have a tremendous pain up in the left-hand side, like where the intestine would come down, where a whole bunch of things are, gallbladder and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure what that's about, but I'm hoping that it will be healed.
Well, gallbladder tends to be a reflection of bitterness.
Yes, that's true.
And so if there's some bitterness that you need to forgive, and maybe you're just right in the space to be on the verge of removing that bitterness, then what will tend to happen is the energetics that are locked into the gallbladder will tend to start to let loose. And you'll get to feel sensations there that perhaps haven't been felt for a long time.
Yeah, it's more actually just where the intestines makes the turn and goes down there. I'm not sure.
Right.
What's really involved. I would almost say more intestines, but even then it's digesting things and letting go of it,
Right. Well, we certainly support you in digesting things and letting go of it.
I beg your pardon, you're supporting me in that?
We definitely support you, absolutely, yes. We join in.
Yeah, I haven't done the worksheet
so that we can all do that.
It just started. But, it's that's all really. I just talked to Julie a few moments ago. Apparently she's up in Portland.
Right.
You know that?
Yes. Yeah. I've communicated a little bit with she and Ed. So.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, do you have a specific question about worksheets, or is there any way we can support you specifically at this moment?
Well, yeah, I don't have anything really clear in mind because I haven't just gotten through doing one or anything. But I think just letting go. I'm kind of tongue-tied in terms of thinking clearly what it might be because I'm feeling, like energy coming around my head and it's kind of hot and going all the way down and in that particular area of the intestines and catching up as much as possible. Oh, we'll be singing. We'll think of all of you. We'll be singing the Peace Choir on Sunday.
Well, please do think about it, yes.
I will, yes. And what was it with, it's your father, or why did she have to leave?
Oh, Jeannie's the father of Jeannie's son, Ryan, passed away a couple of days ago.
Passed away.
And so she's the executive of his estate, and so she's gone back to just support her son and the family. She has two stepsons as well with this gentleman.
Wow.
So he just made his transition, and so the family's just gathering and going through all the details and the process of healing. She and her son Ryan have both are familiar with the work and have done the forgiveness work, and so they're just kind of holding the space for the whole family to move through, the pain and trauma of the loss, and to support her former husband in being able to make that transition consciously and in light and clarity and move forward.
Well, yeah, big time. Well,
so
I don't. Pardon?
I appreciate you holding the space for her, and I'm sure she will too. And I'll tell her that we spoke about it.
Oh, for sure. Yes, I did hear you intonating it earlier, and I have been doing that. I just wish I knew a little bit more about what was going on down here. It feels like the almost the intestines, I guess, are all very stretched and discomforted or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
well, one of the things you might do is just do some still point breathing, and if there's a physician there that you trust, maybe check in with them and just.
I already have a call out to them. They want to. They're going to call back, and otherwise I'll go in and talk with them or see them or something.
Good.
Yeah. Okay,
and you remember the still point breathing process that you did while we were there. You might want to just tap into your breath and connect it and do some of the still point work, and that might help to move some of that energy too.
Oh yeah, I've been doing that for sure. Yeah.
Very good.
Okay,
all right, well,
good.
thank you
we'll
for
have
your
a good
call,
one,
young lady, and we'll hold the space that you're going to have the best new year yet of your eternal life.
Well, yes, and that everything will be organized in a beautiful way that it is just flowing freely.
Cool.
And we'll think of all of you when we're singing our songs of peace.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Blessings.
Okay, bye.
All righty, bye-bye.
All right, Michael, we have about 5 minutes left, and someone from an 312 area code just raised their hand.
Great, 312. You're on the air. Give us a name and where are you calling from?
Well, I'm Ari, and you all know me, and I'm just calling to wish everyone, because I won't be available tomorrow, a great, happy, healthy, energetic New Year. Send my love to all of you on, Dr. Tim, you, David, Julie not on, of course, your lovely wife. And just wanted to wish everyone the very best in peace, happiness, love, and a fabulous new year. And as your expression, which I now use, may this coming year be the best year of your eternal life. I believe it, and I send out my love to all of you, and thank you for all you all do.
Well, thank you, Ari.
Jeanie
and I have called a couple of times over the last couple of weeks and just haven't had the luck of catching up with you, so it's a delight to hear your voice as we get ready to move into the new year. And for those who don't know Ari is the chef extraordinaire that has assisted us so much in getting our menu set up at Heartland and all, and so we appreciate you and love you and bless you and hold that your holy days are holy and that your new year is the best one yet of your eternal life.
Why, thank you, and I look forward to playing with you next year.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got
and whoever else joins us.
The first 2 weeks of our season in June or July, I guess, or last
right.
June, 1st to July. I don't have the dates in front of me. Ari will be at Heartland, and we'll be doing a 2-week food, fun, forgiveness, work, and play program. And so Ari will be with us, and we'll be doing chef things in the kitchen, teaching some. It won't be limited to raw food, but Ari's got some fabulous new recipes he's going to share with everybody, and really do some teaching about how to do that food. And so we're excited and looking forward to that. That'll be really cool as we move into our summer season next year.
So happy New Year, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, blessings.
Thanks. Hey, Ari.
Blessing. Yes.
It's Dr. Tim. Thank you so much for the wishes, and then the same back to you. I wanted to let you know that I'm still spreading the raw kale recipe around. 5 more people were indoctrinated over this holiday season, and they just absolutely had to have the recipe and had me give a tutorial yesterday to make another batch. So
that is
an awesome recipe.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
We should actually stick that one on the website. Because it's not, when you punch recipes.
Right.
You have the Caesars, I don't know which one, but you don't have the kale.
Well, I'll talk to Jeanie and we'll make sure we get that done.
Yeah, that might be a good, that seems to be the one that's the biggest surprise always.
It is, yeah. Most people go, kale, ooh, and then when they taste that recipe, it's like, man, and it is one of the most nutritious foods on the planet. It is one of the best intestinal cleansers there is. There's so many benefits to kale, and you've created such an awesome way to take it into the body that everybody, I haven't had one person who said, ooh, I don't like this one.
Yeah, everyone is they call it nature's scrub brushes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then because it's alive and all the enzymes are active, and then you have the fermenting process going on, it's just really, really healthy.
Yep.
Right. Plus, you have a tremendous amount of literally almost like scrub brushes because it's very fibrous.
Yep.
You don't notice it when you marinate it and all that, but you have fiber in there.
Right. And the absorbable calcium, high chlorophyll. I mean, it's just all kinds of great stuff about that kale recipe. So I'll talk to Jeanie about getting it on the website when we get back together. So. And Ari, I assume you were on when we spoke about Jeanie and her former husband passing the last couple of days?
Actually, you mean yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't on.
Okay.
But I talked to David afterwards.
Oh, okay, good. And just so you know that, if you join in holding the space for her, that...
I have, absolutely.
Fabulous. All right. We appreciate sharing the planet with you, my friend.
And talk to you next year.
Okay.
All right, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You got 50 seconds, Michael.
50 seconds. Well, let's just throw out the thought that, of course, Dr. Tim has a support group in, it's now in, what's the town now, Tim?
It's Woodstock, Illinois.
Woodstock. By the way, I tried to call Reverend Tom, and the number I have is disconnected. Maybe you could send me a current cell number for him if you would, text it to me or something. I'd love to say hello to him and congratulate him on the new church. So Dr. Tim has that support group, and Nene has every other Thursday in Fort Lauderdale. There's support groups happening all over the country. If you're doing one that we don't know about, let us know. And we'll also be back in Florida. We're in St. Louis right now. My granddaughter just went for her 2-week checkup yesterday, took her to the doctor, and all is well. And so we appreciate you holding the support for her and her eternal life. We'll be back in Florida starting on January the 7th, doing an 8-day series between Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, and then touring Florida. Take a look on the website, whyagain.com. and you'll know exactly where we'll be all winter. Blessings.
Thank you for listening to MindShifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife Jeanie, who present the internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanie are here every Monday through Friday on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.